Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about enjoying the holidays. It is holiday season, and I'm going to come at this a little differently. I want you to think about how you can get the most enjoyment possible out of the holidays, because I think this can help you in a number of ways. I think the more you enjoy the holidays, ultimately it's going to support your weight loss and your weight mastery, because when you have a foundation of feeling good about life, it's easier to make better food choices. And I think enjoying the holidays, you can approach it almost like an art. You can really think, how can you get the most value and enjoyment and pleasure out of the holidays? It's a question a lot of people don't ask. We kind of just get stuck in the mode where we think about how holidays have always been and how we imagine they'll always be. And we never really take a step in there and say, wait a second, how would I like the holidays to go? What would be the best case scenario, the best version of the holidays for me? We don't typically ask that, right? And when you start to think about that, even if you have a lot of responsibilities or stress, if you're traveling, whatever's going on, without question, if you start thinking about how you can make things better, you're going to make things better, right? So the start of this, to me, enjoying the holidays really usually begins by taking care of the little things. And typically the little things during the holidays that people overlook: sleeping, hydration, relaxation. Right? Those are the big three. They're the foundational pieces. And a lot of times they kind of get lost, right? So we get caught up. And sometimes it's excitement. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Sometimes we get excited about Christmas. We're buying gifts and we're doing all this fun stuff. But that can cause us to go to bed later, get less sleep, not drink enough water, get excited, which is still tension. And so if you start to look at the holidays and you start to imagine a holiday season where you make it a priority to get a little extra sleep when you can, right? Whether it would be a nap, going to bed a little earlier, sleeping in a little later. When you start focusing on drinking some more water, make sure you're drinking water. Whether you do it or not regularly, you can make this time the beginning of it or the continuation. And it's not that difficult. You know what I mean? That's one of those things that's relatively easier, just by setting the intention. And then relaxing. If you start to relax a little bit more, and that only takes a second, really. You could sit there while you're watching TV and do a little bit of breath work, relax your body. You can be sitting in the car, relax your body. And if you make these three things a priority, what happens is fundamentally and foundationally, you start to feel different. You start to become a different version of yourself. And now, as you go through the holidays, whatever your holidays may bring, you're meeting them more on your terms. You're more grounded, you're more calm, you're more at peace, when you're doing this. And I think that way of being, helps you enjoy things more, just period. You tend to enjoy things more when you're relaxed, calm, and grounded versus being stressed. And when you're relaxed, calm, and grounded, you tend to make way better food choices without even trying, right? You just naturally are kind of nudged towards making better food choices. Not that they're always perfect food choices. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying percentage-wise, statistically, you tend to make better choices when you're calm, rested, and relaxed, right? So this is one of the easiest ways to enjoy the holidays more and to have an eye on the future, where if you are focusing on your weight and you do want to change your weight, this is a great strategy where looking at the holidays as a way to kind of maintain the foundational pieces, so that when the new year, perhaps when you decide to really focus and the time is right to focus on your weight, you're prepared for it, right? You haven't been off track, right? You haven't had, 6 weeks of stress behind you. You have a foundation of relaxation and calm. And that is going to set you up better as well to, if you are getting ready to focus on your weight in a more serious way, you're going to be more prepared to do that, right? Because you're going to have more energy, you're going to be more calm, relaxed, and you haven't gotten as far off track because of all that. So I hope all this helps you. If you want to go deeper into this way of thinking, and if you really would like to relax and calm down during the holidays, make sure you click the link in my bio and go get the free hypnosis session I give you. It will help you relax, and it will put good ideas in your mind that hopefully will support you having a more enjoyable, pleasurable, fun holiday season. So go check that out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Any questions are welcome. I am usually here Monday through Friday, if you don't know me. And I help people master their weight. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I know a lot of people, again, it's like odd sometimes, a lot of people kind of check out of weight during the the holidays. Not my world. My world is a weight loss 365 days a year, but some times of year are set up for more success than others. So obviously during the holidays is typically not the best time in the world to lose weight, but that doesn't mean, I never look at like losing weight within week time periods, right? So for me, like when I look at the holidays, and I still approach them this way, because the holidays is probably December specifically is probably the month where I'm kind of take my foot off the gas the most, kind of coasting a bit, enjoying myself, eating a little extra more than I would and all that stuff. So if my weight goes up a couple pounds, I'm okay with that. That's just part of the whole thing. It's kind of the ebb and flow of the year, but I think in terms of a year, right? So when I think of December, I'm not just zoomed into like how I'm doing this week. I'm zoomed out looking at, okay, December, I kind of ease off a little bit. Then I start to, tighten things back up again, and there's a nice natural kind of give and take, ebb and flow to the whole thing. So I find that works very well. I've been doing this for a while. So Bookworm, Jim, I started the program yesterday and it's absolutely wow. The info is pure gold. All right. I like that. I'm going to screenshot that. I like that a lot. Yeah, you joined at the right time. I will tell you that, Bookworm. It is because I literally last week just I redid the emails and I added a whole new sequence to it. So, man, it's awesome, because I've had these placeholder emails. That's what I always thought of them as for years and years and years. But now they're redesigned and they're reformatted. So I very intentionally, those emails now are reinforcing the main messages of the day. And then I added the nighttime sequence to it, and that reinforces the message of the day. It also kind of nudges you to do the redo rehearsal technique, gives you a Gym AI prompt. I'm super happy you're here now, and I think you're gonna love it. So all that stuff's been updated, and I think it makes for a much better program even. So, like I said, I'm obsessed with this program, So when you're part of it too, like you get forever updates to it. So. What's up, Sherry? Sherry says, hi, Jim. Drinking my water as we speak. All right, nice. I'm drinking more water because I don't can hear my voice. I'm in the middle of it. I'm not on the cusp. I have been feeling weird for, I would say, since Sunday. But luckily it's not that weird. So I feel good enough to work and do stuff and I can still talk, but it's like just throat's a little weird, chest a little weird, head's a little weird. So I'm hoping it just stays kind of minimal, minor, weird. I'll take weird. I don't want it to go to full blown sickness. But if it does, it does. That's all right too. But it is funny. I mean, whatever. I was hoping I had plans this week to be recording a lot of stuff. So I don't know if that part will be happen, but that's okay. But anyways, nice job, Sherry. Remo says, I think you can eat, but watch your amount. Also walk after each meal. Yeah, sure. I think you can eat, watch your amount. Yeah, amounts matter for sure. But what you eat is going to affect your amounts too. You know what I mean? So I think that's an important piece as well. Because I think, on paper, yeah, just watch your amounts. And then you'll remember stories of, the guy who ate at McDonald's only and lost weight. So yes, technically you can just eat McDonald's and lose weight. If you're really focused and got something to prove. But the average person who's eating junk food, fast food, processed food regularly is going to typically, the average person is going to find now it's a lot harder to control my calorie consumption, right? Because ultra processed food is clearly linked with overconsumption. It's literally what it's designed to do. So yes, on a technical level, you can, watch what you're eating, but in a real practical, real world, sense, I think what you're eating should be paid attention to as well, because the more whole natural foods you're eating, it's just easier to manage the calorie piece of it. Whereas the more processed junk food, fast food stuff you're eating, typically the more difficult it is. So to keep that in mind too, because I think it's important to make the distinction between on paper, like what seems like a real good plan, because all diets seem good on paper, but in the real world, it's usually a much different story. And I think most dieters don't consider that. I mean, they'll look at like, oh, the dumbest shit, the keto thing. Oh, I'm just never going to eat carbs again. And it's like, wait, take a breath and think about what you're saying. No, take another deep breath and just relax and think about what you're saying. You're never going to eat carbs again. Is that really that's your plan? You struggled with your eating your whole life and now you're just going to completely cut out carbs. Is that what you're telling me? You know, come on, give me a break. So, I do think that if we look at what we're doing on paper, it always seems really easy. Oh yeah, just cut carbs out, right? You bring that same idea into the real world, and a lot of times it's a lot harder. It's a much more difficult thing. So, anyways, something to keep in mind, because I find most people absolutely overlook the real world piece of living their plan. Remo says, I reached my goal weight and still keep it going. Nice job, Remo. Sherry says, I know you know this, but take care of yourself and don't overdo it. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. Yes, I have absolutely. That's the thing. It's a little frustrating, whatever, though. You got to get, no one ever wants to get sick when they get sick. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, I never want to get sick. And it's weird too. I can see both sides of it. I would much rather be sick now than in 2 weeks. But and to be honest, I have been taking it easy. Kind of, I will say, in December, I have kind of downshifted a little bit. But I got to be honest, it has been a very busy year. And I'm thankful to have gotten everything I got done, till now. I'm kind of feeling a little sick here, but I feel pretty good. Like, I don't feel bad. I kind of sound weird. I sound worse than I feel. I feel pretty good. But yeah. Yeah, kick that cold. I know. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I do kind of know what happened. My wife's, it's probably a number of things, but I don't think my wife was wrong when she said you probably got the bread flu. I have been eating a lot more bread than I typically do. And that's definitely been that's kind of been weird for me. So anyways. Shreen says, I swear by a shot of ACV, turmeric, pepper, lemon combined, and honey if you need to sweeten it. All right, then I'll give it a shot. Oh, that sounds kind of gross, but taking it easy is relative. Oh, isn't that true? I will say, I would say, I'm going to be honest. I've been taking it kind of easy. I've been working really hard, but then outside of work time, I have been taking it easy. I've been going to bed earlier and sleeping later when I can. Sleeping so much that I actually have been waking up early. So I have been getting a lot of sleep. Like I always focus on that in December. But I do think things caught up with me a little bit, and I don't think the bread helped. So I think those are factors, but that's okay. Like I said, I don't know. I rarely get sick. So it's like, I'm almost like, oh, you gotta get sick at some point. And so sometimes, like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to it because I've downshifted a little bit, and I'm definitely downshifting over the next couple of weeks here before the big new year coming up, the book launch and everything. This book here, bam. Right? Can't wait. This book is so good. Can't wait till y'all get it. Like I said, I'm giving it away for free. So make sure you get on my email list. Click the link in my bio, go to Program Yourself, then sign up for the hypnosis session. You'll be on my email list. And I was saying it was the first 4 days of January. It's not. It's going to be like the 4th to the 8th, I think. But I'm giving the book away for free. Kindle, get it for free. And my wife made me some stickers. My wife loves the stickers. Made me some sourdough stickers. You see this? They're funny. I'm all about that sourdough life now. Iconic says, do you think it's possible to lose 24 kilograms before summer? Anything's kind of possible. So, I'm sure, you could drop, for you Americans, that's 50-ish pounds, somewhere in the ballpark. Could you drop 50 pounds before summer? Maybe, but I think that's the wrong mindset. I almost never see that mindset work, because you tell me, folks, can any of you relate to the idea? Oh yeah, by the time New Year's here, I'm going to lose this much. 2026, I'm going to lose this much. Before 4th of July, I'm going to lose this much. Before Valentine's Day, I'm going to lose this much. Before this, I'm going to lose that much. I just think it's the wrong focus because, again, it's reinforced on short-term thinking. Can you do it? Is it possible? Sure. If you do something super duper extreme, like, cut your calories down to like 500 calories a day and, make your whole life about weight loss, could you drop 50 pounds in 6 months? Then maybe. but it ain't going to last. It ain't going to last. So I don't know. I'm trying to sound negative here either, but again, I do pride myself on being a different voice in the weight loss world. And I think so much of the weight loss world is really just like fixated on fast weight loss. How quickly can you lose the weight? And I just think that's the wrong focus. Okay. I know everyone's fast instant results. No shit. Everyone's fast instant results with everything in life. I get it. I just don't know if chasing the fastest, instantest results is the best way. And I don't think it gets the best results. I regularly say like dieting to me is like, it's like a get rich quick scheme, So it's like, when you look at making money, how you're going to support yourself, what do you think's the better path? Going to school and getting a degree, or going to some training program, getting a training certificate and getting skilled at something and getting a job and working at it and learning how to provide value, or some get rich quick bullshit. Which do you think is the better plan? Right. So that's what I mean. So it's like, you think I make $100,000 by the end of the summer? I mean, sure. Yeah. If you get good at robbing banks, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever. I don't know how you make that much money that quick. That's the same type of thing to me though. Jim, how can I make $100,000 by June? I don't know. It's probably going to be something nefarious. I mean, it's probably going to be something illegal and just unsustainable and ridiculous. That's a lot of money in that little time. So is it possible? I mean, maybe, but is that really where you want to put your energy and focus? I'd much rather put my focus on, can I drop 50 pounds by next year? Can I start to live at 50 pounds lighter? Can I move myself in a comfortable way that's sustainable towards dropping this weight for good? And so again, I'm not trying to be negative. So, but this isn't the place for that. I would never support or work with someone to have a goal of dropping 50 pounds by summer, because it's going to be, I don't give a shit. Plus, you know what? I'd almost feel worse if they succeeded with it, because I know it ain't going to last. Because the only way to drop that much weight is to do something really extreme. It's just that simple. There's no way around that. There's absolutely zero alternative. To drop 50 pounds in 6 months, you have to do something extremely extreme. And you're never going to believe this, but extremely extreme things are difficult to maintain. So again, I mean, it really is an either or, in my opinion. You can either, and now, why can't I lose weight and keep it off? Well, why can't I lose weight quick and keep it off, Jim? Because to lose weight quick, it's real simple. The faster you want to lose weight, the more extreme thing you got to do. Like that's directly related. There's no alternative to that. There's no simple, easy, comfortable way to lose 10 pounds a month. Right? Does that make sense? And so if you're doing really extreme, difficult, hard stuff, yeah, how long do you think you're going to do that for? Oh, you don't know me, Jim. I'm a hard worker. I'm a hard worker too. I'm not going to do hard, difficult shit every day of my life forever. And don't say that to yourself anyways. Because if you're overweight already, the chances of you doing something really difficult, hard, and extreme long-term are almost zero. Right? We got to understand ourselves. We got to see things accurately. So again, I'm not trying to be negative, but if that's your goal, is it possible? Maybe. But certainly this is not the place that's going to help you do it. This might be the place that convinces you that there's better goals out there. But to each their own. Sourdough stickers. Coop says, is this fat phobic? Oh, absolutely not. I get it though. I bring that on myself in the sense, because I know I use the word thin. I've spent so many years thinking of the word thin and thinking of something, it's a better word than thin. And I know thin carries some baggage and all the rest of it. But at some point I realized thin's just the word for me, and it's like, I redefine it. So I'm not talking about like, oh, as thin as you can be is the greatest thing. Is thinner, come on, thinner. None of that shit. To me, the definition of thin is you living at your goal weight. Well, what's your goal weight? Your goal weight, I think, ought to be the weight that gives you the best quality of life. In order to figure that out, you really got to take into account both sides. There's what weight you want to live at, how you want to look, and the shape you want to be. And then there's the reality of living the way you need to live in order to achieve that weight. We've got to take them both into account when we're going to get a quality of life score. So I think being thin means living at your goal weight. Your goal weight means being at the weight that really gives you the best quality of life. So I could be thinner. It's not going to improve my quality of life. I've found a sweet spot for myself. So it's absolutely not fat phobic, even though I know some people are triggered by the word thin. I understand it. I get it. But this place, I would say, is the absolute opposite of fat phobic. Absolutely. Coop says, I know a guy almost 400 pounds. Yep. A lot of people probably do. I always tell this story. It's kind of funny. I mean, the guy that taught me the most about diets he was over 400 pounds. He was a comedian. He was a funny guy. He was a good guy. He was a family friend, and he would do a different diet every month and expensive, crazy shit. I mean, it was unreal. My life is so crazy looking back over it. I will tell you, it is just unbelievable. When I look at my life and I don't know. I don't know if I believe in fate or not, but it's just so, I mean, my father died at 54 of a heart attack when I was 9, right? And it was absolutely weight related. This guy was in my life. He's a 400-pound comedian who would just be on the craziest diets. And he spent so much money on diets. Every month there was a different plan. Oh my God. And so, but he never lost the weight. In the last 20 years of his life, he's in a wheelchair. So, I say that to you because, and he was a smart guy. Knowing things and being able to do it are two totally different things. And so I learned so much about diets and weight loss attempts from him, even when I was young. I mean, I was around him I knew him all growing up. I talked to him regularly, and it was very interesting because, again, he would always tell me, he would talk for hours about these plans. He would explain them to me and all the rest of it, never worked though. So again, that taught me a lot though, looking back on it. Yeah. Coop says military diet, you lose 10 pounds a week. I think Coop's just a troll, but whatever. I don't know what the military diet is, but there's no 10-pound a week diet. I mean, I guess there is. I guess you could just not eat. You could, what's the most extreme thing you can think about, right? Because again, it's absolute, I forget the wording is this. It's absolutely related, right? That the fastest weight loss you can achieve is done by the most extreme thing you can do, right? You're never going to cut your calories by 200 calories a day and lose 10 pounds a week, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely, like, without question, you got to get this in your mind, because the diet industry is conditioning you to just think about the weight loss. But what you're doing as a dieter is you're deleting what you're doing to make that weight loss happen. You get so fixated on the weight loss piece that you really pull your attention away from what you have to do to make that happen. Okay. And so if we take the most extreme weight loss we could accomplish, I suppose it would be some form of dry fasting. I'm not going to put anything in my mouth, not food, not water. Nip. Okay. And then some people go so far to do that, and then they're going to exercise. So they're burning extra calories as well. And really, I don't know, laxatives, I guess, is that about the most extreme thing we could think? Maybe sitting in a sauna, maybe put like a sweat, like one of them suits they put on to sweat everything out too. That's as extreme as I can think, right? It checks all the boxes. We're not going to go to liposuction things. We're not going to do medical interventions here, but we'll just keep it right? Nothing going in here, food or water, none. Start moving more. Right? Exercising, wear a sweatsuit so you sweat as much liquid out of your body as possible. And maybe, and laxatives. So you start pooping everything out. Okay. Let's assume that is let's assume that is the most extreme thing you can do. And that's how you create the fastest weight loss. Okay. But I hope this example proves to you that the fastest weight loss you can achieve is absolutely unsustainable. Because, I mean, again, I don't know, say you could do that for 30 days. I don't know if you could do that for 30 days. I don't know. But let's just imagine you could do 30 days. Yeah, I can't do it for 60 days. You know what I mean? So at some point, I like that example, because the most extreme weight loss, hopefully in your mind, you can see has an absolute ending point. You can't keep that up. And so, okay, so you lost all this weight. Great. But it's not sustainable. So you got to go back to eating, and so the weight's going to go back up. So you didn't really lose weight. It's a trick of the mind, and this is such an important thing to get in your mind, is that's not real. That's not real weight loss. It's just an illusion for a little while. Now, again, if you got a photo shoot coming up and you just want to be thin for a day so you can take some pictures and look at them forever, then that's a great strategy. But if you want to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life, that's a terrible strategy, So I don't know. What's up, Kent? Kent says, when I started PYT, I thought the weight loss was slow, but 14 months later and comfortably down 50 pounds. Damn, Kent, that's awesome. We'll screenshot that. That's my project for the new year. I might get that done before then. I'm telling you what, I am ripping through projects, and one of the new ones, is I don't know if anyone even notices this shit. That's a funny thing, but I don't care because it makes me feel better. I notice it. Is I just got the program, the program's redesigned. Like, so they have different. I don't know what you call them. I don't know what you call them. They're like images of the program. So we got System Weekly and Thrive Program, but those all been redesigned. So that's kind of cool too. So, anyways, program's looking good. But yeah, great job, Kent. That's so awesome. Yeah. Again, everyone thinks their weight loss is slow, folks. No matter what. I've talked to people that are losing 2-3 pounds a week and they think their weight loss is slow. Everyone thinks their weight loss is going slower than it should. It's a universal truth, right? But again, Kent's awesome. He's been doing great in the program. And so it's like, that's the secret though. The secret word that Kent says is 14 months. That's the big difference. I will tell you the big difference with Program Yourself Thin is that people they're in it. You're hearing things like years, many months. You know what I mean? It's not like a diet where people have done it. Because when you talk to someone on a diet, oh my God, I just started this diet. It's always in a time. They've been doing it for a couple days or a couple weeks, right? Very rarely do you even get to months. You never get to years. Let's be honest, So, that's one of the things you quickly notice with Program Yourself Thin is that people do it for a long time. And like what Jody said, yes, Jody, thank you for reminding me of that. Thin is definitely the word. We took it back. Yes, I agree. And I thank you for reminding me of that. That is a whole thing. The idea that at one point I said, fuck it. Thin is the word. I want to be thin. No, but thin's thin. That's your definition of thin. Cool. Don't be thin. What you want. Okay. My definition of thin is really healthy, I think. And so this is what I want to be. I like being thin. Oh, you shouldn't want to be thin. Then don't want to be thin. We all get to choose what we want, right? Your weight is one of the most basic freedoms you have in life. You get to choose what you want to weigh. It's one of the most basic freedoms. So if you want to be thin, you be thin. There is a lot of negative shit around it, right? Because what do? They associated thin with sick and all sorts of other miserable shit. It doesn't have to be that way. So, I usually do say thin and healthy, just to push back against that. But for me, I want to be thin and healthy. That's my goal. I like it. My quality of life is absolutely, me, right? I'm not saying you. I'm not saying, hey, your quality of life's going to be best when you're thin and healthy. I don't know what your quality of life's going to be best at. I'm not you, right? But for me, being thin and healthy is the shit. It's the bee's knees. I love it, right? So, yeah, we kind of took the word back, right? We took it back. You sure want to be thin? Yeah, great. Then see you later, But I want to be thin. Stella says, what about unrealistic weight goals? Oh, my goodness. I think pretty much 100% of people have unrealistic weight goals. It's not your fault. I almost did the lesson today. I almost swear I almost did it on, what did I almost do it on? My head's not 100%. What was I going to say? Was I going to do the lesson on today? Yeah, I will say though, these lessons pop through my mind in split seconds, but what the hell was I going to do the lesson on today? Because it was related to this. I can't remember now. Anyways, unrealistic weight loss goals. Pretty much everyone has unrealistic weight loss goals because we've been steeped in dieting bullshit our whole lives. So we don't even know how, that's another free thing I give you all is the goal weight quiz. So again, no one gives you more free stuff than me. The goal weight quiz is another one because most people can't even pick their goal weight because the truth is you've never even learned how to choose your goal weight. You've been given your goal weight, right? How do you choose your goal weight? You look at a chart that was made for you. That chart's not even made for you, by the way, most likely, unless you're a middle-aged white European man. That BMI chart is not really made for you or based on you, so that I think is just funny. It just really underpins the point that people have never learned how to choose the right goal weight for themselves. You've been given it. Someone's told you read in a magazine, BMI chart, doctor, whatever, So I think most people absolutely have unrealistic weight loss goals in terms of their goal weight a lot of times, right? Meaning I find a lot of people choose a goal weight that is lower than they're willing to live at, right? So you have to understand, right? Whatever your weight is a reflection of how you eat and live, right? So if you want to lower your weight, you're going to have to change how you're eating and living. And I find a lot of people choose a weight that's down here, but they're not willing to live and eat down here. And this, I find for most dieters, they have this incongruence that they're picking a weight down here, but they're not willing to live down here and or don't know how to live down here. One or the other. So I do find that virtually every person has an unrealistic weight loss goal they're trying to get to. And I think pretty much everyone has an unrealistic sense of how quickly it's going to go. And, that's a two-part problem. One is called the planning fallacy. We all have a cognitive bias that when we're starting a journey, we kind of imagine the best case scenario, and it rarely works out that way. So we walk into our weight loss expecting 2-3 pounds a week, and it never lives up to that. So we feel discouraged. The other side of that is that we've been literally steeped in diet marketing our whole lives, where we're constantly getting bullshit numbers thrown in our face, and they start to affect us at some point. So yeah, I would agree. I think pretty much everyone, I think all dieters have unrealistic weight loss goals in multiple ways. Yeah. Kent's doing awesome. I'm just so happy. Stella says, I lost 25 kilograms in 3 months, but stuck now for a year. Interesting. Yeah, but Stella, I get it. I get you're frustrated that you feel stuck. But being stuck for a year is you should be celebrating. You should be screaming from the rooftops of how happy you are that you dropped 25 kilograms and have maintained it for a year. That makes you a huge outlier in the weight loss world, because most people that lose 25 kilograms put it back on within a year. So, you should be feeling over the moon. And I get, you can feel over the moon with what you've accomplished and still want to achieve more things. Okay. But, I would frame this differently. 25 kilograms is pretty substantial. And to keep that off for a year is amazing. Because I don't know how you lost 25 kilograms in 3 months. That sounds hard to believe, but. Or did you put that weight back on? I would say dropping 25 kilograms in 3 months and then maintain that for a year is it's a suspicious story, but I believe you. But it's a little suspicious because 25 kilograms in 3 months that's a lot of weight. So I don't know. I never know. And I feel depressed because of it. No. What'd you do to drop the weight? Because that is a lot of weight to lose quickly. I got to a few years, but stuck. Yeah. RJ says, I like being 70 and healthy and thin. Hey, all right. See, that's what I mean. Because you know what? I get it. Well, I'm not stupid. I understand that really, I think the main thing about thin is thin really got associated with the pinnacle of superficiality, right? And let me unpack this for a second. Let's be honest. I think the thin thing really kind of took off. I'm going to pick Kate Moss. I've been called the male Kate Moss by assholes, but that's okay. So Kate Moss, I'm going to use her as kind of the bullseye for this, what I'm trying to say. But I think back in the 90s, that whole heroin chic thing, the thin thing really became a big thing, right? And so I think, though, that thin got linked to models, right? And models are just people you look at. Right. So it's pure external aesthetics. Right. Thin was linked 100% to what they look like. Right. And you watch these people and they don't look healthy. They look really thin, but they don't look healthy. And at that time, that was celebrated. Right. So it was like the message was that how you look is way more important than your health and how you feel. Right. And so I think that got associated. So that people think, oh, thin, all you care about is what I look like. You don't give a shit if I'm healthy or not. I'm not like that. Just because that happened in time and that's what people associate with thin doesn't mean that that's going to be my definition of thin. So I agree that is a definition that's out there. I get it. I understand it, but I don't accept it. I'm not accepting that as the only definition of thin. I want to be thin and healthy. My definition of thin is that the inside of me is healthier than the outside, but the outside's healthy too. That's what I want to do. And I think that this incongruency is a real problem. It's just one more problem for a lot of people, because I think I know for a fact, I've dealt with it for 30 years. Oh, thin. Do I really want to use that word? Fuck that. You know, I got to the point, I said, fuck it. I'm not going to tiptoe around the word thin anymore, because that's what they do. It's like, what's the goal? Yeah, I had this whole conversation, man. It was that was a good conversation. I don't know if Sherry's still here. We had such a good conversation yesterday. Was that Sherry or Christina? I forget who we had it with, but we were talking about the goal of weight loss. Actually, it was Christina. But the goal of weight loss is actually a problem, because when you think about your weight, you think, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And I was thinking another example. It'd be like if instead of saying, I want to make more money, you're like, I want to lose debt. I want to lose debt. I want to lose debt. All I care about, I just want to lose debt. I'm in all this debt and I just want to lose debt. Right? It's weird if I talk about it that way, isn't it? I just want to lose debt. Yeah, I've been working extra shifts so I can lose more debt. Right? Because it focuses on the thing we're going to lose. It's very weird. Psychologically, I'm telling you, it is foundationally, it gives us a slippery slope. It's quicksand. Yeah, I just want to lose more debt. I just got to lose more debt and pick up extra shifts. I'm going to lose more debt. Huh? It's weird, because it's not talking about what you want. What you want is, I want to have more money. I want to have more money. And so when it comes to weight, you're so focused on losing weight, being less of what you are, that you never focus on what you actually want. And what you actually want is to live at your goal weight, to be at your goal weight, to be thin, healthy, happy. You never give words to what you actually want. You always describe it in terms of what you don't want. I want to lose the extra weight. I want to stop being an overeater. I need to cut out carbs. It's always about what you have to stop doing. And it's never about what you're going to do and what you're going to get and who you're going to be. Tell me that ain't the truth. So I appreciate you saying that, RJ. Stella says, is BMI reliable? Yeah, I know, probably unrealistic, but it feels heavy right now because of so many expert. My BMI is low, but I'm still skinny fat. Don't have anywhere to go. Is BMI reliable? I mean, it's a measurement. You know, what's reliable mean? And it's not so much that reliable is kind of, I think, the wrong word. I think it's reliable for me because the BMI primarily was based on, white European men about my age. So for me, it's pretty reliable. If you're, a female person of color, in their 30s, it's not as reliable. You know what I mean? So reliable is it's less about reliable and more about, is it representative of me? My population, who I am. I think so. That's a piece of it. And then it just comes down, once you're in a ballpark of the BMI, I think the BMI is a useful data point to have in your mind. Okay. I don't think it's the end all be all, but I think it's one data point I pay attention to. And I think that if you use that in addition to, other goals that you may have for yourself to set your goal weight, I think it's useful. Right. But again, so anyways, Stella, so if your BMI is in the ballpark of healthy, because that's why I think the BMI is good for, I do think if you're in the obese category, I would take that seriously. If you're in the normal weight, overweight range, it's been shown that pretty much, statistically, your health's going to be fine. And now whatever weight you choose is really based on whatever your personal preferences are, So I think, you're in a good spot in terms of the BMI chart, Stella, but now, it's up to you to kind of articulate what your personal physical body goals are, what you want to do. All right. Hold on a second. Still says, thanks. I know I should be happy, but I'm not. I didn't put it back on. I gained because of alcohol and binge eating. So I ate it on and lost it quick. Oh, I got you. Yeah, well, I get that, Stella, too. I mean, so what you're saying to me, and I think this is really important, so I really appreciate what you just said, is weight loss doesn't, I just literally posted a video on this. Weight loss doesn't make you happy necessarily. And so in Program Yourself Thin, I always say we really build around this goal weight pyramid. mindset, lifestyle, eating. So Program Yourself Thin's a much more holistic approach to managing your weight. And a huge part of it, because part of the mindset piece is learning how to deal with your emotions, right? And so the more you understand how to deal with your emotions, well, obviously the better, because obviously it helps your eating, but it also helps you feel more of the emotions you want to feel with and deal with the shitty ones you don't want to feel with it as much. But I get it. Stella, I hope you go sign up for the hypnosis session I give you for free and watch the training though, because as soon as you sign up, it takes a couple minutes to send it to you in the email, but I made a training, 3 steps to master your weight. You might like it. So it's free again as well. So you might want to check that out. Sexy Lady says, have thin arms, legs, but torso is still fat. Can't seem to lose any more weight. Been stuck at it for a while. I think you have something in your nose. Stella says, I gained 20 kilograms in 2 months and lost 25 kilograms in 3 months. So probably a lot of fluids, alcohol. Yep. Stella says, thanks. So pretty reliable, but not reliable. Yeah, I mean, it's relative. It just depends. It depends. Like I said, it's a chart that really represents white middle-aged guys most accurately, and then less so as we move on. So, and just beyond that, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's I forget the whole story with the BMI, but it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, ultimately, you got to choose the weight. You're already, Stella, sounding like physically you're in a health range is fine. And so now, okay, be done with the BMI chart. You know what I mean? Now it's up to you. What's important to you here? What is your goal? Why? And what is your goal and why too, right? I just want to say, mindset wise, the very first thing we start with is motivation. Most people have no idea how to create motivation for their weight, right? And some days you're motivated and some days you're not, but that's how it is. Yeah, Still says, where can I sign up? You can go if you're on TikTok, you click the little picture of me up on the top left. If you click that, you'll be brought to my bio. You'll see a link. Click that link, and then you fill out 5 questions. Takes you 20 seconds, and you'll be all set. Thoughts on sports betting as a side hustle. So funny. I always think that, like, I've done almost 700 of these podcasts, and I almost never get trolls on here. It's really, really fascinating. But the funniest part is the very first one of these I ever did in my whole life, over 3 years ago, I did the very first one, and I had a troll, and I was like, oh my God, is this what this is going to be like? I don't mind. I like trolls, but it was so funny. That was the very first one I ever did. And then it's like, I almost never get trolls. It's so funny. I think sports betting as a side hustle is bad. And I was watching a YouTube video yesterday of a guy, and I was like, I don't know about this guy. And then I saw him do a quick ad for a sports betting thing. And I said, I don't like this guy. So I would say that's not where I put my time and money. Stella says, you're really right without even knowing me. I am. I take the no bullshit oath when I get on here. So I want you to know that I'm always speaking the truth. You know what I mean? I can. That's one of the beauties of my life here. But one part of speaking the truth is that, I know dieters' minds better than they do typically. I've been doing this personally for over 30 years, professionally for over 20 years. I've done over 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I'm one of the highest paid hypnotists on the planet, So don't get it twisted. Just because I'm here for free every day, it's because this is a mission for me. So I think of this as kind of my giving back to the world. I get on here every day, Monday through Friday, to help people out for free, because it's that serious to me. And I do have boopity boop boop book coming out, first book coming out in a couple weeks. I will be giving it away for free. So again, if you get on my email list, I will be reminding you of it. Believe me, I'll be reminding you. But you'll be able to download the Kindle version for free. I'm giving it away for 5 days. So go check that out. This book is so good. I don't know. I'm right in this weird spot where I've read this book 6,000 times because I'm just working on so much. But I'm in that weird spot where it's like, okay, it's all done. It's printed. I think it's great. And it's like the calm before the storm. It's like, I don't know, maybe there'll be no storm. Maybe there was a storm of hate. People hate it. I have no clue, but it's, I think it's really good. And for people in the program, I think you're going to love it. Cause like I always say, the thing with this book, I wrote this book very intentionally, even though it was kind of spontaneous how it happened. But this book is, if you look here, there's 40 chapters, right? Each chapter is a page or two, So it's laid out though. It follows the program, right? So if you look here, you'll see like a life event, the inner path is the inner path chapter links up to mindset, right? A life of energy. I don't know if you give a shit, you can see that, right? So a life of energy section is the lifestyle piece. Hold on. The art of eating is the eating piece at the top, right? And so it goes through all the main ideas of those things, and it does it through hypnotic stories and kind of, allegorical tales and things like that. It's meant to be hypnotic. This is a hypnotic book. So the goal was that as you read it in a very accessible, kind of fun way, you're getting all these ideas into your mind. So anyways, and then the final section is transformation, which is all about the program yourself then method, how to program your mind. So yes. Yes, that's right, Sherry. I remember. Yeah, we talked. I knew that we'd had that conversation too. That's why I think I got everything confused. Yes, focusing on what we want as opposed to what we've been is really, it's not easy, but I think it's very, very important. All right, Jenny, with a big update here. Update on the fish and chips pub evening. So I sat there with my chip tea that I didn't particularly want. I wasn't even that hungry. And next to me was the thin and healthy person who had so casually said she'd skip the food. And I really took notice of the dynamic. No one pushed her to eat either in the online chat or at the pub. In fact, no one even mentioned it. She sat there with her drink, joining in and having just as much fun as all of us. And I fully and deeply realized that I wouldn't have missed out if I'd skipped the food too. I would have still had a great evening with my friends. I could also casually dismiss the food I didn't even want, and I would have been fine. More than fine. I ate half of it, brought the rest back for the chickens, and feel like I had one of the biggest lessons of my life and deeply learned something. It sank in so much I can't even fully express it. Ginny, that's so awesome, man. This is why I do what I do. I don't know. For anyone that doesn't know, Ginny's in the program, and we were talking the other day about this whole thing, and Ginny was kind of annoyed and upset with herself about something, and luckily I was able to kind of reframe her a little bit, and then this happens. And this is what I mean, Ginny. This is what I'm talking about. So this really is a big lesson on multiple levels. And one of the biggest levels is that you're always learning and growing, right? You're always getting better, and once you get a strategy and a realization and you practice it and you install it into your mind, you kind of operate on another level. So I'm so proud of you, Ginny. What a big deal. What a big deal. And what a report back. Your report back makes me feel so happy because I know you were paying attention to all the things I would have paid attention to. So that's so great. So Ginny, now one thing you do though, is you take this realization that you've had and you install it you could redo that experience in your mind with all the things you know. You could rehearse next year. You could imagine it's next year, same situation, and you have your wisdom and knowledge that you got now. And you could imagine next year going through that. It'd take you 30 seconds, and that would just install it even more. Jenny, great job. Super proud of you. That is a great report back. Thank you for sharing that. Allison says, thanks. Your motto in my head guided me at lunch yesterday. Eating right is not all perfect or nothing. I ate all or something at a Chinese buffet and still weighed a pound less over the last week. Allison, that's so awesome. Proud of you. Yes, all or something's the shit, huh? That's our main philosophy in Program Yourself Thin, is to be all or something, which again stands in contrast to dieters all or nothing, right? So wow, Allison, that's the best. And what I love most about what Allison said here is that she did it at a Chinese buffet. Is there any place harder in the world to be moderate than at a Chinese buffet? So that is a huge, huge accomplishment, and you did it in a comfortable way. Super proud of you. Nice job. Sherry says, I like how you compared it to school and being less ignorant than I was last year. We think of where we are, not where we used to be. Yes. And overthinking about where we want our goal to be. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. That was such a great coaching call yesterday. I really appreciated that one. Margaret says, very cool to see you will have the book out. So good to hear. Cut the chase, easy to share, real and true, and therefore impacts are true and real. I'm looking forward to it. I agree, Margaret, so much. That's been, listen, I will tell you the hardest part for me of Program Yourself Thin is that it's a little bit, it's a little bit complicated. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to say complicated, but it's like compared to like diets, which try and make it really seem as simple and easy as possible. The reality is if you're really going to change your eating, you're going to have to invest in, it's like going to college. You know what I mean? You're going to have to invest time and energy into this. You need a holistic, comprehensive approach. And so I know that, and I feel great about the program, but there's always been kind of this barrier between what the program is and explaining it to just anyone. And so to have this book now and just be able to give this and just let someone read it, it's going to do it. That's why I'm so excited about it. It's really, it takes all the detailed nature of Program Yourself Thin and just simplifies it. So that is cool. What's up, Christy? Christy says, hi, Jim, down 7 pounds. All right. Christy is in the program. Again, killing it. Yep. Down 7 pounds. My thoughts regarding food have changed significantly, except sourdough bread. Out of the ultra processed food health cycle. Nice job. Can't wait for the book. Yes. Had 2 parties last week, tasted a few things and moved on. Christy. All right. This is fun. This is what the coaching calls are always like. You know what I mean? So it's so fun hearing everyone's success. Again, this is what I live for. This is really what fulfills me. It makes me so happy, Chris. I'm so proud of you. And again, the big things like, listen, weight loss is great. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously I always celebrate that, but I always look for the other things too. I like to look for the context, and so, Christy's down 7 pounds. Hey, guess what, everyone? It's holiday seasons. You know what I mean? We've been on holiday seasons for 6 weeks now, you could say. It's down 7 pounds. That's what I'm saying. She's gone to Christmas parties. Try a couple things, move on, eat moderate, be in control, be calm, relaxed. This is what I'm talking about. This is that all or something mindset too, where it's like, even during the holidays, you can trend downwards. But even if you don't, like, again, you're living your life. That's what I'm trying to say. Dieting is an illusion because a lot of times what's happening is you're just pretending to eat different for a little while so you can lose some weight. But what I'm looking at is integration. That's why I love talking to my clients during the holidays, especially. How are the parties? Oh, they're fine. Yeah, I want to enjoy. They got strategies. They got the mindset to support it. And they're going and they're living their lives. Do you understand? And not only are they living their lives, I will typically hear from my clients that they're enjoying the holiday season more. If you got to hear the beginning today, I talked about it, which, by the way, this is a podcast. So if you ever get here and you kind of want to listen to it more, but you got a weird schedule or you're working during the day, like a lot of people, it is a podcast. So you can go and search Program Yourself Thin and listen to it, whatever. But today I was talking about enjoying the holidays. And this is a big part of Program Yourself Thin. We've been focusing on this all month, where we really say, how can I enjoy the holidays as much as possible? Program Yourself Thin takes weight loss and wraps it in personal development. So at the end of the day, Program Yourself Thin, honestly, it's like, it is a weight loss program. Absolutely. But it's really a personal development program. So just losing weight during the holidays isn't enough. We want to go through the holidays and enjoy them more, be more relaxed and calm, feel more at peace when we go to a social situation, feel in control when we go to a Chinese buffet or to a pub tavern to have a holiday party. You know what I mean? Like, that's the quality of life piece. That's the most important piece. And that's what's always missing from people's diet plans. It's not that the diets don't work when you do them. They all work when you do them. The problem is you don't do them for long because they don't really fit into your life. It's not a good fit. Right? It's just, it's hard and difficult to eat so strictly, especially during the holidays, And so again, diets are typically very rigid and stiff. And when they get into times of vacations or holidays, they kind of crumble. Where Program Yourself Thin is built to be flexible. So that you can go through the holidays and go to vacation, you can do different things and still stay in control, still stay in the game. So super happy you shared that, Christy. I really appreciate you sharing that. Keep it up. That's awesome. Hey, just at the beginning, that's the beauty, Christy, to remember too, is that it is 7 pounds. That's really nice. But the way you've done it, you're ready to do it for a while. Right? So Mary says, what is the name of the book and when can we expect to see it in stores? Down 7 pounds too. All right, Mary, nice job. All right. We have the success circle here, right? Everyone's sharing their wins. Nice job, everyone. That's so great. The name of the book is The Tao of Living at Your Goal Weight. So the Tao is a nod to Taoism, if you don't know that, Eastern philosophy. It was real impactful for me in my life. And basically the idea is that, and I thought it was so applicable to weight, because the idea that Tao is kind of harmonizing with our environment, harmonizing with reality so that we can achieve the results we want in a way that feels good, right? Instead of always thinking everything's got to be a battle and controlling and fighting, it's kind of, how do we go along? How do we flow with life to get the results we want? And so that's why I wrote this book, and I add the Tao to it, And on top of that, it is inspired by kind of the style, I would say, of Tao, the Tao Te Ching specifically. It's kind of modeled and styled after that, and kind of a poetic sort of styling, right? So both of those things. But yes, this book. What I will say, Mary, is if you get on, well, I think you're in the program, but if you're in the program, I'm going to give you a free copy anyways. I know I said I was going to do it last week. It'll probably come this weekend. A couple things delayed that, but I'm going to give this book away to everyone. Okay, on Amazon, the first week of January, not the first 4 days. I think I'm going to start it like during the weekend, because I know the first is what, Thursday or Friday. So I know people, you know what I mean, that they're still. Most people are going to start on Sunday, Monday, right? So that's when I'm going to give the book away for free, the Kindle version. And so I will let you know all about this when it's available and ready to go. Believe me, I'll let you know. I'm going to let you know too much, because I will be asking for your help. That is one thing I will be asking. I will be asking for, a favor with this book once it comes out. If you like it, but we'll keep that for another day. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to wrap it up here. It's a great job, everyone. Wow, everyone's kind of killing it. So I appreciate you all sharing your successes. That makes me feel so happy. So, if you're not in my world, though, make sure you click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, or go to programyourselfthin.com. You can go there and get it. If you are, actually, I'm going to add that in the Facebook comments. I forgot to add this, but I will put it in Facebook. If you don't have this hypnosis session, you're not in my world, you really ought to do it. It's all free. And I've got so many free things coming. I will probably have that all done by the end. I know I will, actually, before the end of the year. I got a bunch of free stuff coming. So never mind, get my program. I give you a bunch of stuff for free, so that's going to help you out, especially over the holidays and into the new year. Yes. And I do this every day. So if you like this, or you have any questions about weight, want to talk about it, hop on here. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. What else? Oh, yeah, it's a podcast too, right? So if you miss or can't make the lives and you like listening to this, though, you can go to any podcast platform and search Program Yourself Thin, and it will show up, and then you can listen to the podcast whenever you want. All right. And it's valuable too. What's up, Shell? Shell says, thank you. You're a great help. Your tips and advice are brilliant. Well, thank you. Screenshot. I like all those stars. Sela says, I just love what you promote, and it makes so much sense. Great hypnosis too. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yes, I love the hypnosis. I think it's a very powerful supplement to all this other stuff. And I appreciate you saying that. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a super duper day, and we'll talk.